Yeah, nothing better than paying it forward, right? We feel like we're getting paid back for all the hot weather we had earlier this summer. Elizabeth Gardner is out on the WRAL weather patio for a beautiful day, but we're going to keep a close eye on the tropics because that's going to be a topic the next couple of days.
Exactly. The storm's likely to make landfall tomorrow evening on the coast of Louisiana. It's not likely to bring us any major issues, but it is likely to be a pretty big deal for folks in Louisiana. As a matter of fact, in the last 5 years, they've had 10 landfalling storms there in Louisiana. So, you know, it's something they've had to deal with quite a bit lately. It's 400 miles south of Morgan City, Louisiana, moving northeast at 8 miles per hour, 65 mile per hour winds, 74 mile per hour winds will make it a hurricane. And it is likely to be a Category 1 or close to Category 2 storm as it makes landfall tomorrow evening on the coast of Louisiana. This track, compared to the one that we saw earlier this morning, our 11 o'clock track, is slightly farther east, and so slightly more focused on New Orleans instead of being a little bit farther to the west. And of course, you know, we talk about these forecast fans every year. You know, the forecast fan is only for the center of circulation. These systems are so much bigger than that center of circulation. So already we're seeing a lot of rain up and down the Gulf Coast with this system. It moves up the Mississippi Valley and then just dissipates, not necessarily coming into our area, at least the center of circulation, but it doesn't mean that we won't see at least some rain out of the system. So here's a look at the radar, and you can see it's raining all the way from northeast Mexico all the way to Florida. So pretty much the whole Gulf Coast north of the center of circulation seeing a lot of rain. Going to see as much as 5 to 10 inches of rain, especially right there from Louisiana eastward over toward Florida. Wind is going to be a big deal too. That center of circulation sitting again off the coast of Mexico. And right now we're looking at some wind gusts just east of Houston at 21 miles per hour, 22 to 25 kind of out in the Atlantic, but we don't have a way to look at those wind gusts in real time. Those are all buoys, but we know that it looks like we've got 65 mile per hour winds there. This is a look at the wind field as it's starting to make landfall. So just south of New Orleans Wednesday evening, we're going to see those winds at Category 1 strength. Of course, we do have a hurricane warning that's already in effect for most of the coast of Louisiana. And here's a look at the storm surge. And this is, you know, always such a big deal. 9-foot storm surge in that area shaded in red, and as much as 4 to 6 feet just south of New Orleans, and in New Orleans, around New Orleans proper, about 3 feet of storm surge. And all that area is so flat. So that storm surge is going to create some major problems, along with the rainfall potential along the path of the storm, anywhere from 5 to 10 inches. And again, you can see that moving on up toward Illinois. The best chance of flooding is going to be down there in Louisiana. We're not looking at much of a flooding risk, but we're definitely looking at the potential to see some of that rain lift into our area, potentially starting as early as Friday with some light scattered showers, and then we'll see that on and off as we get through the weekend. There's a Wednesday evening, you know, follow that path of the storm and of the rain. And watch how some of that rain starts to intensify there over Georgia. Some of that's going to lift up toward our area as well. But right now, the Futurecast models are showing less than an inch of rain for us. So we'll see how that all shapes up. 2 more systems out there, one at 41 at 70% chance of developing. We're going to have nice weather around here, nice low humidity today and tomorrow with high temperatures in the mid 80s, and then some cloud cover rolls in by Thursday.
Here's the latest update on Francine, still a tropical storm that's in the western Gulf of Mexico, forecast to become a hurricane before making landfall late Wednesday into Wednesday evening on the Gulf Coast of Louisiana, and that'll be the state's 10th landfalling storm within the past 5 years. You see that it goes up the Mississippi Valley into parts of the Tennessee River Valley, and it weakens and stalls as we head into the weekend. So there's been this concept being thrown around of rapid intensification. This is where a storm would have its central wind speed increase by at least 35 miles per hour in less than 24 hours. It's debatable as to whether or not that happens with this storm because the ocean waters are very warm, but it spent a good chunk of this morning battling some drier air getting into it. Regardless of if it's a Cat 1 or Cat 2, it's going to be very impactful to the Gulf Coast. There are some other storms out there. In the orange, you've got a 40% chance of development within the next 7 days. The red is a 70% chance of development within the next 7 days. So the peak of Atlantic hurricane season is behaving like it. The climatological peak is today, and that goes until the middle of October. Hurricane season as a whole goes through the end of November, and these storms are really happening in those target areas that we typically see storms happen in the month of September. So even though we don't have anything directly affecting us right now, keep it with WRAL throughout the rest of hurricane season for all your tropic updates.